Right now, a teenager is dead after a shooting on Richmond's north side. Coming up, what we're learning from investigators. Plus,
Me feel like I have roots, and that's probably what I put down here.
The building is very special, but the people in the building made it even more special.
The fire that destroyed William Fox Elementary could not burn the memories. Tonight, we're hearing from two friends reunited for the first time in decades in the wake of the tragedy.
Plus, Russian forces amassed at the Ukrainian border refused to back down, and tonight, a new and dire warning from the president as the threat of war looms.
NBC12 News at 11 starts now.
We begin tonight with the forecast. We're tracking a major system that's impacting people from Alabama to Maine. And that system is headed this way, bringing with it plenty of rain.
And it was a windy day to begin with, but wind gusts are expected to pick up as we head into the overnight hours. Meteorologist Megan Wise giving us a first alert on how much rain we could see out there. Meg?
Hey, Mickey, it looks like we are looking up to a quarter of an inch, maybe even a half an inch of rain on the high end amount for anyone that sees some heavier rain pockets that move on through overnight. Already seeing the first of the rain here, leading edge from Caroline County, stretching into Hanover County, down towards Powhatan and Farmville. Most of this is just light, but as we go through the overnight, rain becomes more widespread. Winds have already cranked up within the last hour or so. This is a sustained wind right now at the airport, 35 miles per hour. Everywhere else about 10 to 20 miles per hour, and wind gusts within the last hour here. We've gusts up to 45 miles per hour at Richmond International. So this is all ahead of the cold front. It is going to stay windy throughout the overnight, and with that southerly component of the wind, it's keeping us warm. We topped out earlier today at 74 degrees. We've been in the 60s all night, so a spring-like feel to the air this evening. 68 right now in Hanover, 67 in Chesterfield, Richmond down towards Petersburg, and we do have a wind advisory that will remain in place through 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're looking at wind gusts that could be approaching that 50 mile per hour mark, so we could be dealing with some isolated power outage concerns. I'll walk you through the latest hour by hour for the rain, and we'll talk more about when these winds lighten up coming up here in just a little bit. Makia?
All right, thank you, Meg. Well, developing now, Richmond's fourth homicide victim of the year, a teenager. Police were called to Jenny Shear Road just before 5 o'clock this afternoon. Once on scene, they found a 17-year-old boy with a gunshot wound. Sadly, we have learned that he died on the scene. Police are investigating. Anyone with information is asked to contact them.
1 week ago, fire gutted the beloved Fox Elementary School, and now students who graduated nearly 60 years ago are keeping the memory of the century-old building alive.
Two members of the class of 1960 are sharing their experiences at the school, only with 12. AJ Nwoko joins us live now, and AJ, they must have some unique stories to tell.
Yeah, the funny thing is, though, believe it or not, many of the experiences that students, parents, and other community members have shared over the past week are very similar to what this duo has shared over the past years in the 50s and 60s.
Remember the canteens in the basement?
I do. I remember
Did we
the
dance?
Fox Family Fair.
From grade school crushes
I didn't know until when I reconnected that he'd had a crush on me.
To lifelong friends, there are likely few people who know William Fox Elementary the way Teresa Jacobson and Wayne Whitlock do.
1960.
That was their graduating class. And they've got the pictures
Well, I'm easy to spot because all I wore was plaid.
to prove it.
Must have been the white bobby socks.
I was right on the front row. I was 11. It was so odd to see myself at that age.
And memories.
The smell was still the same. It was nostalgic. It was like, you know, your grandfather's shaving lotion.
That could fill an entire school.
It was the old wood that was still there that I could have closed my eyes, and if the bell had rung, I'd have gone to class. It was so familiar.
Memory so strong not even a fire could snuff out. But last Friday's inferno was a gut punch.
Seeing that aerial view, a lot of special memories there. And that area off the back where the auditorium was, we would have movies shown there. That's where our graduation took place. So that particular room was very special because all the kids met there.
As for why their bond to this place is so strong,
It's something about the school. It was warm, and it was personal, and you felt really connected.
But as special as their story seems, it's an experience Whitlock says all students go through here, which is why they don't want to see Fox go anywhere.
The building is very special, but the people in the building made it even more special.
And they don't want to see the next generation miss out on their walk down memory lane on Hanover Avenue.
We lose so many things now in our world, and this is something worth keeping.
Whitlock and Jacobson say that now that they've come forward to share their memories, that other alumni from over the years who have attended Fox Elementary will come forward so that they can have a big reunion to celebrate the school. That'll do it for us now live in Richmond. AJ Nwogo, NBC12.
Thanks, AJ. Just one day after Governor Youngkin follows through on a campaign promise to outlaw school mask mandates, Richmond Public Schools announces how it plans to adjust. Superintendent Jason Camrus says starting March 1st, parents will be able to request that their student not wear a mask by emailing RPS with their student's name and school. They don't have to give a reason. However, a mask mandate will remain in place, and only those who have written notices will be exempt. And as the law only applies to students, all teachers, staff, and visitors will continue to wear a mask. And keep in mind, all students who ride on school buses still need to mask up per federal law.
Well, meantime, today in Henrico, for the first time in 2 years, students walked into schools without any mask mandates in place. While it's still strongly encouraged, school leaders eliminated the mask mandate effective today. A Henrico spokeswoman says that even though schools were given until March 1st to remove the mask mandate, they knew some families would choose to send students to school without masks immediately. Masking is only one part of the district's mitigation efforts.
In the hallway was particularly difficult because you're so squished up against everyone else. In the classes, she was able to pretty much stay away from anybody without a mask.
Colonial Heights also officially dropped its mandate today. Hopewell Schools won't drop its mandate until March 1st. And Petersburg will keep theirs until the school board discusses it on the 25th. An update tonight on a story that we first broke on Live at 5. A 13-year-old Richmond student who brought a gun to school at River City Middle School is now facing 4 charges, including possession of a firearm on school property. Police say around 10:15 this morning they got a report of an armed person at the school. The student was taken into custody without incident, and tonight that teen is a juvenile in juvenile detention.
A Richmond man will serve 7 years in prison after pleading guilty to voluntary manslaughter in the death of a 4-month-old baby. Terrell Glover was initially charged with first-degree murder, but pleaded guilty this afternoon to a lesser charge. It was back in October of 2020. Police were called to Florida Avenue for an unresponsive infant. The baby was brought to the hospital where it died. Glover was sentenced to 10 years in prison, with 3 of those years suspended. And we have an update tonight in the case of a man charged with murdering a 50-year-old woman last year. Today, the charges against Irvin Bowles were set aside. Dawn West Dutcher was found dead in an alley on Decatur Street in Richmond back in November. Sources say she was stabbed several times. Just hours before Dutcher was murdered, she was caught on this surveillance video walking with an unknown man. It's unclear why those charges have been set aside.
Well, today, President Biden saying that he believes Russian President Vladimir Putin will go forward with an invasion of Ukraine. The dire warning from the White House coming as NATO allies accuse Russia of misleading the world with disinformation by saying that it would pull troops back. Chris Wynn has the latest now.
More tension along the Ukraine-Russia border as America tries to use diplomacy as a solution to the crisis. President Joe Biden warning that an invasion of Ukraine could happen within the next several days.
Every indication we have is they're prepared to go into Ukraine, attack Ukraine.
Despite the Kremlin's claim it pulled some forces back, the U.S. says Russia has added 7,000 troops along the Ukrainian border in recent days. These estimates would place the total number north of 150,000, according to officials.
The basic principles that sustain peace and security, principles that were enshrined in the wake of 2 world wars and a Cold War, are under threat.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken appeared before the United Nations Thursday morning, claiming Russia plans to manufacture a justification to invade Ukraine.
I am here today not to start a war, but to prevent one.
Meanwhile, Russia has expelled the second most senior diplomat at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow in what the Biden administration views as an escalatory move. The step comes as the Kremlin sent a written response to U.S. security proposals, saying the increasing U.S. and NATO military activity close to Russian borders is alarming, according to Russian state media.
It will be Mr. Putin who will bear the responsibility for the suffering and the immense sacrifice that ensues.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
Well, today, Senate Intelligence Committee Chairman Mark Warner said that he hopes and prays Russia does not launch an invasion into Ukraine. But if they do, he says that it could impact America.
We can't guarantee it won't affect America because energy markets are global. If you have a major disruption in energy markets, you could see higher prices. In natural gas, you could see higher prices on oil, and that could translate through to the pump.
Warner says a Russian invasion would trigger harsh American economic sanctions against Russia, and if that happens, we could all feel the pain.
There's a new push to change the power the government has over products from microwaves to toys.
The laws often have been set that really prefer the manufacturers, the business community over consumers. And that's a real sad comment.
Some in Congress say that companies have too much power to withhold information about potentially dangerous products. Tomorrow at 6 on NBC12, what lawmakers say needs to be done with the current laws that some have deemed defective.
Well, while the search for a Hampton toddler continues tonight, the case against Corey Bigsby takes a strange turn as all Hampton County Circuit Court judges recuse themselves from involvement. They'll explain what happens next straight ahead. Next.
Rain now pushing into our area right on time. I'll show you the latest hour by hour on when it moves out and when these winds calm down. Coming up after the break.
And before we head to break, here's a look at how the Olympic medal count is stacking up. Right now, the U.S. in 4th place with 21 medals, just one behind Canada.
Welcome back in. Tonight we have new details. Today, all Hampton County Circuit Court judges recused themselves from the felony child neglect case against Corey Bigsby. The chief judge said that it would be improper for them to hear matters in the case, but did not give a specific reason why. Instead, they requested the state Supreme Court appoint a judge to sit in. Bigsby was charged 4 days after he reported his 4-year-old son Cody missing, unrelated to the case. Right now, his lawyer is focused on interview tapes of Bigsby's time with Hampton police.
I anticipate there being at least 50, 60, 70 hours of footage that I need to review. Complete scope of the civil rights violation that occurred there is not yet entirely understood.
Ambrose says that Hampton Commonwealth attorney Anton Bell is trying to get him the tapes as fast as possible. Meantime, a bond hearing was set for next week. It's not clear how the recusal could impact that.
New tonight, a federal lawsuit could bring back many voters to the polls in November to cast ballots for some Virginia lawmakers for a second time. It argues for new elections to repick members of the House of Delegates. This stems from redistricting changes that impacted voting districts. Now, due to delays in census data last November, Virginians elected 100 delegates using outdated voting districts. In December, Virginia's Supreme Court approved new voting maps.
Now that we have fairer maps, let's use them. Let's put them to use so people will have an equitable chance to elect people that they feel represents their interests.
The change would have current delegates serve a 1-year term, run for another 1-year term in November, and then return to the normal election cycle in 2023. State officials have argued it should be dismissed for lack of standing and procedural issues. An appeals court will hear arguments come March. And a judge rules that former President Donald Trump does have to testify in an investigation into his business practices. The New York Attorney General's office had previously issued subpoenas to Trump and his 2 oldest children, Ivanka and Donald Jr. Both have been executives in the Trump organization. The decision is likely to be appealed, but If not, Trump could be forced to answer questions or plead the fifth, which he's criticized others for doing in the past.
Well, developing tonight out of California, Governor Gavin Newsom says that the state will take an endemic approach to new COVID surges. This plan will essentially revert the state to normal, but will keep policies in place that would help identify and react to a surge. For example, it will remove mask mandates, but still encourage mask wearing. Now, the new mindset comes 2 years after the first stay-at-home orders were issued.
Heavy snow and sleet take over the Midwest. That winter weather just the beginning of what is a massive weather system stretching from Kansas to Maine. Now, in the Midwest, thousands under a winter storm warning. Meantime, in parts of the South, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee, we're under tornado watches tonight, and heavy rain is expected in the Northeast. Meteorologist Megan Wise back with us now. And Megan, nothing like that, no severe weather, right?
No, we're just looking at gusty winds throughout the overnight, and we are going to be watching the rain continue to move on in. We'll take a wide view here of that system, and you can see the rain stretching all the way up towards Maine. Still snowing up towards Cleveland and into portions of New York, but most of what we're seeing now is just plain old rain. Storms still brewing down towards Georgia at this hour, and we have started to see some rain within the last hour that has made its way into our area, most of which has been light from Caroline County into Hanover back towards Louisa County, up into Spotsylvania County, seeing just a little bit of some light rain, and then stretching over towards our west here. Powhatan County might be seeing just a steadier pocket of rain moving through. Amelia County, Nottoway County, and back towards Farmville and Prince Edward County, seeing just a little bit of light rain to start. Another big story today were the winds. It was windy earlier this afternoon. They kind of let up a little bit early in the evening, but now they're picking back up. That's as the cold front's moving closer. These winds are cranking up. So this is a sustained wind at the airport right now, 35 miles per hour. Wind gusts within the last hour, 45 miles per hour. So we keep the gusty wind until that front crosses the area. And until then as well, we keep these warm temperatures. We're in the mid, if not upper 60s still at this hour. And we're looking hour by hour for the rain here to continue overnight, becoming more widespread. Notice here 2-3 o'clock in the morning, we're picking up a couple of pockets here of some yellows, oranges, so some moderate to heavy rain can't be ruled out, along with gusty winds through the morning commute. So just keep that in mind. Most of this looks to move out by mid-morning though. So by 9 o'clock, we're drying out. The breeze continues and the temperatures will be their warmest overnight, mid-60s. They'll fall as we go throughout the day tomorrow. Temperature-wise, with a northwest breeze tomorrow, we'll be in the mid-50s at about 11 in the morning. 2 o'clock will be in the low 50s. We'll start to see some sunshine during the day. And then by 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, we're in the upper 40s. So falling temperatures throughout the day tomorrow. Staying breezy. Winds out of the northwest will add an extra chill to the air. And if you have any plans Friday night, no problems. We're looking dry. Weekend forecast looking dry as well. Cold starts though, so if you do have Saturday morning or Sunday morning plans, make sure you bundle up. We've got plenty of sunshine. It'll be breezy as well on Saturday. We'll be in the mid-50s, and then Sunday we start in the low 20s. We have forecast highs in the upper 40s, so a chilly day overall. And then we have a roller coaster ride of temperatures as well as we go into next week. Monday we're in the mid-60s, partly sunny. We've got more rain likely Tuesday of next week, and then we warm up to 70 degrees Wednesday. And then we're back to 50 degrees by next Thursday. We will be right back after this break.
Developing now, former Los Angeles Angels employee Eric Kay is found guilty for his role in the overdose of star pitcher Tyler Skaggs. Kay now facing life in prison. Skaggs was found dead in a suburban Dallas hotel room in 2019. His toxicology report showed a mix of alcohol, fentanyl, and oxycodone. Kay's sentencing has been set for June 28th.
Well, early this week, we told you about a labor shortage and how it was affecting the Tuckahoe Little League's ability to find and secure umpires. After that story aired, at least 45 people signed up, which is wonderful. But tonight, here's the thing. We've heard from other little leagues around the area, including Chesterfield and Essex, who are in great need for their own games this year. Chesterfield's Little League tells us that they're accepting anyone over the age of 13 who's experienced or willing to learn how to become an umpire. Well, 2-hour Olympic coverage tonight. Only a couple of days left in the Winter Games, but the emotion and all the action isn't winding down at all.
Liz McLaughlin is in Beijing tonight with more on all of the drama. The closing ceremony just a few days away. It's a night you don't want to miss. Take a look. Starting at 7 p.m. this Sunday, you can catch a wrap on all of the best moments from this year's Olympic Games, followed by closing ceremonies at 8 p.m. At 10:30, you'll get a sneak peek of America's Got Talent Extreme. Then, of course, we hope that you'll join Lakia and me for the late news at 11 o'clock.
That's right. We'll be here. But stick with us. We'll be back right after the break. Welcome back in. Before we go tonight, a heartwarming story out of Chesterfield. This is little Dylan right here. He turned 10 on Valentine's Day, and he's a big fan of law enforcement officers and firefighters. Well, Dylan was born premature at just 3 pounds and was not expected to survive, but he persevered through 23 brain surgeries, and police wanted to bring a smile to this little fighter's face, so officers rode to his house in style to wish him a happy birthday. A big happy birthday to little Dylan as well. How sweet, Kurt.
It's a happy face right there now.
Yeah, I love this.
Thanks for staying up late with us. That will do it for us, but more Olympic coverage is on the way.
That's right. Then 12 News Today starts bright and early at 4:30. Of course, we'll see you right back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.